Hi everyone, Vicky Scatini here. I am really excited. I have today Daniel Ramsey. You know what I always preach, and I'm just going to let him talk about his great idea. He had an amazing light bulb in 2008. So I'm going to let him tell you more about his business because we're going to be hearing a lot more from him. So thank you for being on the show, Daniel.
Hey, Vicky, I'm glad to be here.
Thank you. So tell us about the light bulb. I always tell people, when you get that light bulb, do not just put it in the drawer. Write it down and actually take action. If you have that light bulb, investigate it. If there's an idea there, then run with it. Just do it. Do it.
Yeah, I love it. My light bulb happened on my honeymoon, actually. I was in Guatemala. We were in a Francis Ford Coppola resort. So I'm a real estate broker. I'm a mortgage guy. I'm a developer. And I'm just the kind of guy that I love business ever since I was a kid. And I'm at the bar at 2 a.m. closing a deal. And literally I'm negotiating and closing a deal at 2 a.m. in Guatemala, in the jungle. Monkeys and birds and what happened was the bartender, we'd been there a couple of days, and the bartender and I joked around. I speak a little bit of Spanish. He takes my phone, he takes a picture of me, and then he starts making fun of me in Spanish, like, dumb white guy. Why is he here? Why isn't he in the room with his beautiful bride? And I looked at the picture and I knew instantly something had to shift in my life. I hadn't had a vacation in a long time. I was working all the time. And what I hadn't figured out is leverage. And so in that moment, I wanted to have a family. I wanted to stay married. And I knew that I had to make a change in my business. And that's really how my Outdesk was born.
And that's amazing because we don't realize that we're living, life and business, and we're always playing catch up. That's just the bottom line. And how do you get out of that vicious circle? You really sometimes have to step back just to be able to go forward. So you have the light bulb, and then I'm assuming you finished your honeymoon, I hope.
Yeah. Everything worked out. In fact, so we're now married 12 years, 2 beautiful kids.
Congratulations.
And not only have I figured out leverage for my own businesses, but we've helped over 6,000 other folks really understand leverage and get what we think is a great offering, which is virtual assistants to help them grow and scale their business.
Definitely. And it's amazing. So how did you get it started? I mean, you said, okay, something had to change, but how did you think, I am going to go, you said the Philippines, right?
Yep, we're in the Philippines, yep.
Okay. How did you go there? And this kind of just shows you guys is he had the idea and he just went and did it. But at that time, 2008, I don't remember virtuals being a hot item at all.
Yeah, it wasn't. In fact, we built the industry inside of the real estate niche. Nobody, I would go to a conference in 2009, 10, 11. I'd be on stage and I'd say, hey, we have virtual assistants. And then people would walk up to the microphone, and get on just like you and I are talking and say, Daniel, can you tell me what a virtual assistant is? And so, we created this market in basically the real estate world. Here's what's wild. The 4-hour work week hadn't been written at this time when we started. Like all of the things that, helped popularize the idea of virtual assistants, that just wasn't out there. Upwork wasn't around, Odesk, Elance, these things just didn't exist back then. And so, literally, so your original question was like, so how did you get started? It was an accident. And here's the truth. We're at a conference, and there is a title company out there, a huge title company, who is pitching the idea of virtual assistants. And, at this time, I toyed with it. I've played with it. I had a couple in my business. And a good friend of mine who was a really big broker in San Diego said, hey, Daniel, I'm thinking about signing up and getting a couple of these guys. And I said, oh, really? What are they charging? And they were charging like $35,000 or something. It was an outsourcing company, but it was the title company owned them, right? And I looked at him and I said, I could do it for 20. And if you're interested, I could get you a couple. And he's like, could you get me 5? And fast forward a year later, he'd gotten up to 17. And so accidentally he said, hey, Daniel, could you get me some? And I said, yeah, sure, man, I'll get you a couple, but I got to charge you. And so that's really what created My Outdesk. He was our first client. And back in April of 2008, we started helping others find leverage in their business.
Wow. Now, do you just do it for real estate, or is it other businesses too?
No, I mean, we have a boat broker, a lot of speaker coaches, authors, insurance companies, marketing companies, technology platforms. I'm a real estate broker, so we started in that space. But the reality is leverage, and every business needs it. One of our big pushes right now is the healthcare world. I mean, they're getting blown up right now with everything that's going on. And so, we have a huge, several clients in that space. So that's a huge piece of our business. But here's the thing. If you're listening right now, whether you're an investor, entrepreneur, or you're just a business owner and you need help, like what we do typically is we have people come through a consultation where we look at who's on your team now, what are your systems and process, what technology are you using inside of your business, and could you actually hire and be successful with a virtual assistant?
And that's great that you do that, because I had plateaued. And I think I told you earlier, my business had plateaued. I was one of those people that didn't think I could afford one. Yep. And I plateaued, and I was working 20 hours a day, 7 days a week, if not more. Yep. And finally, I had an event in Florida, and I drove back in the middle of the night, and I just thought, you know what? I keep hearing the virtuals. So I decided to give it a try. I failed. And I think one of the virtuals wouldn't have worked out, but I think the second one could have worked out. But I personally failed them, meaning yep. I did not commit to teaching them. I was so bogged down that you really do have to take a step back to teach, to move forward. And I didn't do it. I didn't do it. I went back to regular 20-hour days and not more. Second time around, I said, no, I'm doing it. I committed, and I perfected it the way I train my virtual assistants. Not to say I'm always adding new departments to the business. So then we figured new things out. But you really have to commit. I mean, wouldn't you say yes, you can get someone that has experience in bookkeeping, let's say, but you still have to commit to teach them your books. And it's not something that they can pick up right away. And you do need to give directions.
Yeah, we have a process for that. So if you're listening right now and you're on the fence of whether or not you could have a virtual assistant and be successful, number one, absolutely training is a key. And we have a thing called play, pause, do. So in your example, Vicky, which I think is perfect, let's say I was helping a virtual assistant learn my books and how to actually do my books. Well, I would pull up QuickBooks, and I would, like we're on a Zoom right now, I would then share my screen, and then I would talk through my chart of accounts. I would talk through my balance sheet. I would talk through where they would get information in order to input it. We would go through, maybe January and February months. And I would ask them to do a example of February, a month that's already done, right? And so what you want to do in the beginning is you want to create, number one, video of you doing the job, how, what, and why. We call it the how, what, and why. And play, pause, do. It's an easy way to train somebody. But entrepreneurs, we're so crazy. We have so much control issues, because I speak, I'm speaking empathetically to your audience. If you're out there, I love you, man or gal. This is just how we're wired. We want to control everything. And what has to happen, and you probably experienced this, is you have to release control, allow mistakes to happen, update your systems and process, and document exactly what you need to have happen. And most people just won't do that work.
Yes. And here's one. I'll tell you another story. It was probably about midnight. My virtual had done a presentation and there was one number wrong. And it had been quite a few times that number was always wrong, and I always corrected it. And I said, it would have been so easy for me to correct the one number from a 12 to a 10.
Yep.
Send it out. Done. But guess what? I would have had to do it forever.
Yep.
So I actually fought with myself for about 30 minutes that night and said, don't do it. Oh, but I can get it out. Nope, don't do it. I ended up not doing it and waited till the next morning to teach my virtual, look, by you putting the 12 there, it affects it this way.
Yep.
Never had to do it again. So yes, we are control freaks. Those entrepreneurs out there, we're all the same, and it is hard to do it. We've all experienced it, but yeah, I do the same thing. And you can actually start now doing stuff to train your virtuals. As you're doing your day in and day out, start recording yourself.
Yep.
Start recording on what you're doing and, save it. This is how you entered a new client. This is how you do this. So makes it so much easier by doing things like that. I mean, like I said, I started with one. She's still with me, and I think we're 17. I don't even know how many I have now, but it's amazing. And if you really want your business to get to the next level, that's the way to do it. I mean, right now, aren't we all working virtually anyways? Majority of the people, you guys are at home. So even if it takes, an hour away from your day, that's an hour that you can go and have a life or do what you like to do. I mean, I just love it. I love this whole idea, and this is amazing. And thank you so much for signing up, because I'm a big fan.
Yeah, I think here's another piece. The reality is, once you create a system and process, what happens as an entrepreneur is now you can give it away to somebody else, and that might give you 2 or 4 hours back in a day. Maybe if it's only 1 hour, but if you take that hour and invest it back into your business, back into finding the next deal, or loving on the client so they give you more business, or and innovating your model so that you can survive in this weird, crazy world. Well, we call that compound leverage. You're giving away an hour of your day to a virtual assistant, and you're buying it. You're buying an hour of your time back. And if you put that hour back into your business, it will compound over time. And most people just don't understand what compound leverage is. It's kind of like compound interest, right? There's a time frame, there's a little bit of pain, but at some point the arrow starts shooting straight up. And so anybody who's listening right now, if you're overworked, if you can't go on vacations, if you're like me and always traveling with your cell phone right next to your head everywhere, I would invite you to find a different way.
And definitely. I mean, you guys probably know, if you are that person we're talking about, you're probably plateauing by now. And there's only so much longer that you can do those 20-hour days.
Yep.
Now, think about the days you actually do get 8 hours of sleep. How much more productive are you the day after? So by you being able to now have somebody else, you get a lot more 8 hours sleeps. I mean, just even 8 hours. Just saying.
Yeah.
But it is a hard one. It's important. It's important, but it is a hard one. Like I said, I'm just as guilty. The first time I did horribly. But if someone that is interested in getting a virtual, finding out more, or being able to talk to you, how would they be able to get a hold of you?
Well, Vicki, we're actually created, because of this whole COVID-19 thing and the world is working completely virtual. We put together a package. It's called Go Remote by My Outdesk. And basically we've had 13 years, 6,000 clients, and every single one of our people are remote, meaning they work from their home on our technology platform. So what we did when this all broke out a couple months ago is we actually put together all of our systems and process in one single document. And so everything that we've learned over the last 13 years with a really crazy diverse workforce in every part of, I mean, you know, we have folks in US, we have folks in Canada, and we have folks in the Philippines. So you're thinking about like all of the different things that you have to know in order to do that. We put together a free guide. It's called Go Remote with My Outdesk. And for your audience, we're giving it away for free. All you have to do is text MOD to 31996 and you can get your free copy.
Oh, I love it. Thank you so much. So, you know, keep talking about my virtual, and I have to tell you this little part. So my very first virtual, I mean, she is a brain. She, from the Philippines, she is amazing.
Yep.
And she calls me the other day. She's all, Vicki, you got Daniel Ramsey. I said, okay.
Yeah.
Daniel Ramsey. She's a big fan. Big fan. So RJ, I said I wasn't going to say, but I did. I know you're listening right now.
Yeah. What's cool about what we've done is our businesses, you know, we really led the way both in the Philippines and here in the US. We have folks, they have healthcare, they get vacation time. You know, we have an FBI grade background check when they get hired. So we're bringing in really great people. We're known in the Philippines as the best employer around. I mean, folks, for instance, if you go to the hospital in the Philippines and you're one of our virtual assistants, you get ushered into a special room. They have executive level pay. I mean, because here's the reason, and this all matters for our clients, because if you have a business, your time is very precious, and turnover is basically the enemy of scale. If you're trying to build something, you spend the time to train somebody and they're like, okay, I'm out, bye, I gotta go now, then it feels like a waste. And so what we've done is we pay our people really well, we give them great benefits, we love on them, and we're just really connected to our folks. We do 2 conferences a year, or at least we did. We're gonna be having to shift that to a virtual conference this coming fall. But the reality is, if we take care of our virtual assistants, they take care of our clients, and that helps our clients grow and scale.
I love it. Wow. I'm very impressed. Okay, guys, you guys hear me? I'm never speechless, but I think you got me a little bit speechless on that one. I'm very, very, very impressed. That's amazing. Wow. Okay, you might as well say something because you really caught me off guard on that one.
Yeah, no worries. I mean, here's another piece. I mean, one of the things that differentiates us too is we're actually a company here in the US and we're actually a company in the Philippines. So like we're incorporated over there. We have an attorney, we have a CPA, we have benefits. Many of our new competitors are running out of the back of a car, or in a call center somewhere, and they pay their people really low rates because they just graduated high school or college. And so the normal model is just really not great for businesses who want to scale. And it's also not great if you're a business with, personal information like a lender or a title company, or if you're worried about protecting your client's data, guess what? We're PCI compliant. So we're also the only virtual assistant company out there that has a PCI compliant platform. So, when our clients, hire us, you don't have to be worried about your data. You don't have to be worried that this person has a criminal background. Like, you're not going on Upwork and crossing your fingers and hoping, you have a partner in the Philippines that takes care of their people and really filters out the bad apples, so you can focus on what you do, which is growing and scaling and hopefully making a lot of money.
Yeah. And it's true. I mean, just because you may like the person and you may have them for a while and they do a great job, you really don't know their background. I mean, heck, you don't even know your neighbor's background. So that is something really, really important, because they are handling sensitive information, or even just your clientele, they'll have access to your database.
Yep.
It's really, really important. So those of you out there thinking, I mean, I preach it all the time, get a virtual. And it just really takes your business to the next level. And if you're thinking you cannot afford it, you can't really afford not to do it either. It's minimal, the cost, because now you will get to do what you are good at. So think about you doing 100% of the time that you allot yourself to work, what brings in business to your business? It's
Right.
going to pay that virtual and 10 others. That's just the way it is.
Well, and what you're talking about is, you know, I'm a sales guy, you're a saleswoman. I mean, when we're on stage or on camera or even with a client, our job is to sell, right? Well, if you look at the time frames that you're actually selling, whether it's negotiating a deal, trying to get another thing under contract, or whatever your job is, your hours, your dollars per hour are really, really high. I mean, normally really high. And if there's not, then you have some issues, right? And that's a whole nother conversation.
Another one.
Yeah, but normally if you're prospecting or getting deals or working in your strength zone, you're making a couple hundred, some people are making $1,000 an hour. So why would you do work that's $10 or $15 an hour jobs if you can make hundreds of dollars an hour? And that's the thing that we try to help people understand. There's jobs out there that only you can do, and those are the things that you should focus on, and everything else you should give away to a virtual assistant.
I love it. I love it. So can you repeat again, those of people that are out there listening, how they can get this free, is it ebook form, document?
Yeah, it's a guide, and you know what, I'm gonna articulate a couple things on it. So number one, because the world is shifted, we're helping our clients, anybody who comes in and does a consultation, to really reimagine their value proposition out to their world. Like if you were a house cleaner before, maybe you need to be a certified COVID-19 house cleaner, or if you're a real estate person, you need to be now the virtual real estate person, you know. So everybody's got to kind of zig and zag in this new world. Part of the Go Remote Guide is a guide for reimagining how you would add value to your clients, as well as an entire litany of information about working remote. What are the systems? What are the tools? How do you train somebody? You know, what are some of the techniques? My favorite, Vicky, is, you know, you don't want to put in a chat room, hey, I'm going to go to the potty, like my 4-year-old would say, you know. So we've got, you know, etiquette in there. So you would say bio break, be right back. You know, bio sounds a little bit better, you know.
I like that.
Yeah. So we have all those kind of tips and tricks inside of that guide. And anybody who wants it, all you have to do is text MOD, so My Outdesk, MOD to 31996 to get your free copy. You can also visit us online at myoutdesk.com, and that's MYOUTDESK.com, and request a consultation and come in and grab it that way.
And guys, those of you who are watching on social media, we'll have all the information below too, so that wouldn't be a big, just get it from right below. So thank you again. I know for a fact that we will be talking again shortly. Very excited, very honored that you're here and you joined the podcast. But guys out there, you guys need to go to the next level. If you were caught off guard with COVID-19, do you want this happening again? I'm not going to say that it's going to be COVID-19, but it could be something number 20 next time. Well, you do not know. So This could be the future. And to me, I just said, it's almost surreal. I didn't think it would happen in my lifetime. What's happening? So create it. And if you're going to do it, just do it right. Do it right from the beginning. Great people. It's been an honor again. And thank you for being on the show.
Hey, Vicky, thanks for having me.
Thank you.